Message here, please stand by. We're experiencing some system issues.
All right, so we were experiencing something happened there. Well, that's okay. We keep going on. And the question was, when should Israelite women cover their heads? And where we left off is we're assuming that the scripture is already known when it talks about head covering. So the Israelite nation, we're going to go off of a platform. Elder Shadrach has carefully and skillfully instilled within us the separation of clean and unclean, holy, unholy. As Solomon says, there's a time for everything, right? So there's times where holy garments, things that are of a holy nature, don't meet the atmosphere. Excuse me. So, as I'll just give an example. Are you going to wear a holy garment to a graveyard?
No.
I don't think you would do so. You would have special garments for that you would have. We treat the covering of the head, according to the scripture, when it comes to our women, in those holy environments or times where it's treated with a holy white glove.
Right, and we would have to define what holy
Right,
is.
right.
Because today everybody is holy.
Right.
But they don't spell it Holy. Some people may be spelling the Holey. I mean, that's holy too. But you're correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So to define what is holy, maybe that's another talk, maybe that's a conversation we have once you visit us or we have a telephone convo, but that's how we look at it. So you may see times where, and I know those comments have come up, why are women not wearing their, right? When it's time, it's done, and it's done in full respect towards our Father. And when it's not that time, it's not that time.
Absolutely. I agree. Good. Okay. So I think we've made it pretty clear that. Oh, yeah, you had another scripture you wanted to read.
Oh, okay. I think we were at Matthew.
Yeah. Matthew.
That was a while ago. Matthew 7?
7?
And we started at 15. Yes. So we'll go to verse 16. You know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit, as it only can. Right? The things of the Spirit, you will see the things of the Spirit from the things of the Spirit. Things from guile and vile and offense will submit only that.
All right, so as you know, we go through this every Friday and Saturday where things just happen and we get kicked offline. We're back on. They missed the whole thing about the head covering. So they just said they missed the whole thing about when should an Israelite woman cover their heads. And the question again was coming from the standpoint that a lot of women out there, Israelite women, are now flocking to the nation because, of course, we empower our women. We don't treat them like the Hebrew Israelites treat their women. And they want to know from us, like, when do you cover the head? When do you not? Because out there's a lot of noise.
Okay. You want to repeat?
You want me to pick up?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Israelite nation, the first thing that you have to understand where we come from is we've been taught carefully from Elder Shadrach regarding clean and unclean, holy and unholy. Two sides of the fence. So there's, as Solomon has said, there is a time for everything. Everything is not mingled. If it's mingled, it's confusion. So with that being said, as I had asked, would you wear a holy garment to a graveyard? We would not.
No, we would not.
Others may, we would not, because we understand and recognize that there is a such thing as clean and unclean, holy and unholy. There's a separation. So we treat in many different instances, but when it comes to head covering, we also use the same platform when the time is of a holy nature, of a spiritual nature, where the respect of the covering of the head must be done, we do it. When the time does not call for that, where it's not of a spiritual nature or of a holy nature, then the head is not covered. To define when is and what is holy of a time and so on, that's a conversation that we would have to have in person or on telephone or so on and so forth. But you may see, I've seen comments over the years where we've asked why they're not wearing head coverings and so on and so forth. You may have caught us in a time or a moment where it doesn't call for a head covering. It's not a fashion.
That's right.
It's not a fashion. It's not something of a fashion that we do. Head coverings could be fashionable, but in a spiritual sense, it's not. So when it's utilized, when it's time, it's time.
And also, can I jump in there as well? Women, if you're on your cycle, you do not cover your head because, again, that's a time where you're separated from those things of a spiritual nature, anything to do with that nature. It also says, as we understand in the commandments, is remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So keeping it holy means there's a separation between, as Priest Kirk has said, clean and unclean, holy and unholy times. So we have to be very, very careful when we're saying, can we just wear it kind of boggles me you're still getting those kind of questions, because if they was truly following understanding and they understand what we're doing, not all of the women there are going to be covering their head. You've explained it perfectly, because it's down to a specific time, and if the woman is on her cycle. It's also showing respect also to our God. And this is what we do. We honor our Father and we understand his laws, statutes, and commandments. And we abide
That's
by
the
them.
point right there. The whole idea is subscribing to the law, because this is our tool for education, for our enlightenment. We cannot get to that level without an understanding. This is why it is there. You can't, like you said earlier, Priest, you can't pick and choose, right? You get the whole package by starting at the ground level and working your way up. And you will see now, as you continue to grow in this nation, the wisdom of our God and how we can benefit from his wisdom so that we can grow together. And a lot of the things that we suffer today is because we fail to do what he has commanded that we should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to go?
And as he's reading, as Priest Sandal had said, we want to make it clear, we are not Hebrew Israelites. So a lot of the questions and a lot of the thought processes that pertain to that following, people tend to take it and throw it at us as if we're of the same template. We're not. We're not of that template whatsoever.
Never.
So you would see a stark difference in many different things.
Yes.
From one point you look, yes, the word Israelite, we call ourselves Israelites, and there's some other stuff that may seem similar. Application is of a different nature. It's of a different nature.
Yes. Yep. You gonna read it?
Yes. Okay, so verse 17. So we're at Matthew 7, verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Now we know that this is not speaking of a tree.
That's right.
Per se.
It's not speaking of a tree. A tree that's of no use, a tree that's of no use is cut down and cast into the fire, meaning destroyed.
That's right.
And this tree is representing
The people.
the people.
And this is why, as we said at the beginning, if God loves everyone, why would he have to cut down those trees?
Why would there be trees to be cut down?
Why? And put into fire, destroyed.
Because Israel is called the trees of righteousness
Right.
in the book of Isaiah.
Yes.
You see? So that's really beautiful. I like the way you worded that.
Verse 20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them.
Yes.
All right, and those fruits, when the time of judgment comes, the fruits that are being sought by the judge, and I use the word judge,
Yes, the supreme judge.
the supreme judge,
Yes.
the fruits,
Would be the deeds.
the deeds, which are the law.
Based
all
on-
the laws.
Yes.
That's what you're being judged on.
That's it.
So the tree that's of no use,
No use.
I
Not keeping the law.
That's
don't,
right.
don't want to be circumcised.
Yes.
You know.
hew
all
it
these
down.
things.
Hew it down, cast it into the fire.
Yes.
Not everyone that saith,
God.
not everyone that saith unto me, Lord,
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 right.
shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Verse 22, many will say to me in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Have we not gone around in the streets? Have we not put our hands on people and healed? Have we not fed the hungry? Have we not sent money to charities, as you said? Have we not gone to the church, to the shrine every Sunday and bowed down to the... Have we not? Have we not? Have we not?
Wonderful things.
Have we not done wonderful things? Prophesied in thy name have cast out devils even. In thy name done many wonderful works. Verse 23. And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you.
Depart from me.
Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking for them.
Heartbreaking
All
for
those things.
God that is supposed to love everybody.
Everybody. That's it.
Does God
Wow.
love the world? God does not love.
That's
He
right.
doesn't.
Yes.
God does not love the world.
That's a great scripture.
Thank God.
That's a great scripture. It shows that. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I think we how much time?
We got about 5 minutes.
Oh, good. So, just even on that, Priest Kirk, that sums up the entire lesson, because a lot of people are saying, but as we got the questions, but I call on Jesus, but Jesus can save me, but I pay tithes, you know, I mortgaged my house.
Have we not?
And I've given it all to these charities. You know, you see them on TV running, and they're, you know, and people are buying. Whoa, they've got some kind of a spirit, and they're all these things, as you said.
I even put
many
myself
wonderful
on
works.
I went and I put myself on the cross.
A cross to
and
feel.
they hammered my hands
And I
through
feel the
like
pain
Jesus.
too.
And
And
they
my
lift
feet.
me up way up.
Yeah.
15 feet they lift me up. And I bawled.
Oh, jeez.
And they brought me down. Have I not been crucified?
Because it said, if we die with you, we will also rise with you. So, you know, God, can't I just be saved? But it clearly states, you will not, because you do not do the will of my Father which is in heaven, through me. So now, how do we bring that even in the same parallel in today's terms? We have the messenger of the covenant. We have our elder Shadrach, who has brought this truth unto us, who was teaching this 35 years ago. I did the calculations, by the way, and I worked out 35 years ago, man, I was only like 5 years old.
Me too.
5 years old, I mean, I didn't even know what was going on. You know, I'm experiencing life. And Elder was out there teaching the doctrine of truth. And he's knocking on the door, and he's, as you rightly said, a porter. He stands and he opens that door. He opens that door. But you've got to go through one door. So this scripture is perfect. Wonderful things. Call him whatever name. You know, our elders being very, very, very clear. They call him many wonderful names, all this stuff. That might be his name. But that's not the name he instructed the children of Israel from Genesis to Exodus to call him by.
Right.
So therefore you failed immediately from the name alone.
Yes.
Which, well, as you said, Priest Kirk, you're going to be judged on the law. But what's the name of the law giver? Who gave? What's his name? You failed. So how do we expect now to enter into the kingdom of heaven?
Right.
When he's given us the one path to go by. Israel, and your scripture, being born again into Israel. It's wonderful.
So I think we could conclude then that God does not love everybody,
Everyone.
does not love the whole world, and that John 3:16 has been taken out of context by many people who are not of the Israelite nation, not of our Israelite royal family. And we know, if we turn quickly to Genesis 7, and we can start at verse 21, I'll start to read. It says, and all flesh died that move upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beast and of creeping things that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, all of all that was in the dry land died.
Died.
And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground.
Keyword
Both-
destroyed.
Yes.
Yes.
Both man and cattle. And the only ones that were left, as we know, was Noah and his family. Now, if that was a God that loved everybody, why would he do so much damage to these people? But then we have to ask ourselves, who are the people that would be saved? Let's go to Psalms 25, and I'll read 2 verses. Psalms 25 says, from verse 12, it says, what man is he that feareth the Lord? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. His soul shall dwell at ease, and his seed shall inherit the earth. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. So without this covenant, without that level of righteousness and obedience, we don't stand a chance.
No chance.
So let us take John 3:16 for what it really says. Be humble and obedient before the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. We give thanks to the God of Israel
Yes.
for giving us this understanding. We give thanks to our elder Shadrach for teaching us so that we could hold hands, come together, and glorify the God of Israel, even in the face of adversity. And we thank you, my dear brethren, for watching and listening. And for guests, thank you also for joining us. And I pray that you all will stay together at home and maintain your isolation from this coronavirus so that one day we can all come together again and hold hands in the same building and glorify the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Here at his family, the Israelite Nation Worldwide Ministries, Toronto, Canada. Peace.
Peace. We're going to see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
2 p.m. tomorrow.
2 p.m. EST.